Today we're going to talk about Eastern Woodland Forest region. We'll talk about climate change's impacts on this region with two specific examples of species, and we'll then talk about some solutions to combat climate change in the region. Let's first talk about the region. The Eastern Woodland Forest region spans from Maine down to Florida, stretching from the east coast all the way to the Mississippi River. Many parts of the region are mountainous, but not all of it. Some well-known mountains include the Adirondack Mountains in New York and the Appalachian Mountains along the eastern seaboard. There are also many hills and valleys throughout the region. As this region is a forest biome, many forests cover the region, mostly consisting of deciduous and conifer trees. These trees include oak trees, maple trees, beech trees, birch trees, and hickories, as well as spruce trees and fir trees. As someone who has lived in this region most of my life, I can confirm that it rains here a lot. The precipitation here ranges from around 30 to 60 inches of rain a year. Generally, the winters in this region are very cold but short, and summers are warm and long. Some animal species found in the Eastern Woodland Forest region include red northern cardinals, gray squirrels, black bears, white-tailed deers, raccoons, red foxes, and opossums. There are many national parks in this region, but we are going to focus our research on the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. This park is found in the states of Tennessee and North Carolina, or more specifically, right between the two states. The rainfall per year ranges from 55 to 85 inches. Snowfall within winter months range between 1 to almost 26 inches of snow per month. The average high temperature here is at 71 degrees Fahrenheit, while the average low temperature here is at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Debatably, some believe that people have turned this area into a national park in order to conserve the wildlife and the environment, but many others might argue that this was done simply for tourism. Either way, the establishment of the national park has saved many habitats from being destroyed from further deforestation. However, humans have caused more harm than good to the park, or just to the region in general. Much of the original forest has already been destroyed by people for wood and land space. Some roads have also been built into the area before it became a national park that disrupts animal behaviors like mating and hunting for food. Air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from inside and outside energy use has affected temperatures and other living conditions for many species in the park. We all know about how climate change causes rising temperatures, and we can see it here in this graph. However, there are many other effects to the climate besides just rising temperatures and sea levels. Air pollution has caused acid rains in this region, with rainwater at pH levels of 4.5. For reference, normal water should have a pH level ranging between 5.0 to 5.6. Some of these changes are even directly visible. People visiting the park have reported an overall 60% decrease in visibility due to ground-level ozone pollution. As mentioned, this region is very wet and humid in general, and this is typically good for many native species and people that live there. However, climate change is causing big weather extremes. Droughts are becoming more long and severe. Even the heavy periods of rain have also brought about many negative effects. In Tennessee, there's an average of around 51 inches of rain a year with small fluctuations. Recently, though, Tennessee had hit a high record of 62 inches, and this amount might not even be recorded for a full year. Flooding has become a much more frequent issue, not just in the national park, but also in nearby towns and cities. Many species of this region are also affected by climate change. One example is a woodpecker-type bird called the yellow-bellied sapsucker. It is 8 inches in length and lives mostly in the eastern parts of the US and in other countries, particularly in the forest woodland region. They rely heavily on balsam fir trees, a common type of tree in that region. Not only do they live on these trees, they also poke holes in the tree for sap, which is their main source of food, as well as food for other animals and insects. These trees adapt much better to colder climates. Climate change, however, is slowly shrinking their habitats by warming areas that are usually cold. Because of this, the yellow-bellied sapsucker population is expected to decrease over time.
Another example is the black bears. The black bears are affected by littering very severely, and littering can cause a spike in black bear deaths. As black bears start to associate litter to humans, they start to lose their natural instinct of fear of humans. This causes them to start coming up to people in hopes for food. If you aren't careful around a black bear, they can become aggressive and the bear might have to be put down. If black bears lose their fear of humans, it can make them easier prey for poachers and increase the chance of car accidents.
Some other examples of species affected include fish that live in cooler areas of streams. Warming temperatures in the water are removing ideal habitats for fish like trouts to breed and survive. A type of spider called the spruce fir moss spider that typically lives in damp moss to survive is losing homes because of the extended drought periods. These weather extremes are expected to worsen as time goes on. This bar graph shows the mean temperature changes predicted to happen in just 50 years. If current climate change conditions are causing such rapid decline of suitable habitats for species, will these animals and plant species even be around by then? There are many suggestions on how to slow climate change and its negative effects. According to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park Action Plan written by the NPS, or National Park Service, the majority of greenhouse gas emissions come from transportation, energy use, and waste. This document also includes some plans currently implemented or will be implemented in the future to reduce contributions to climate change. Some current ones are increasing energy efficiency, maximizing daylighting, and switching to more energy-efficient electronics. Some future plans include implementing an energy-saving training program for employees, installing dimmable ballasts, and adding photovoltaic panels. My solution is basically the idea of using a better energy source that won't be as harmful to the environment. Although this idea is controversial, ethanol biofuel and biodiesel is an alternative energy source that has proven to be much healthier for the environment. Overall, the creation and use of biofuel causes 41% less of greenhouse gas emissions compared to fossil fuels, and releases less air pollutants that would otherwise be abundant from using fossil fuel energy, quoted by PNAS. They are also biodegradable. As of current research, biofuel is much more expensive to produce and requires more space. My idea would be putting an investment in biofuel creation and use to finding ways to make this more efficient. We can also replace facilities like oil refineries with biofuel production sites if the research of biofuel proves to be a success in the long run. If biofuel is more commonly used, we can potentially measure concentrations of greenhouse gases in the air and compare them to past data when fossil fuel was more commonly used to show the effectiveness of using biofuel.
A way we can stop littering in the Smoky Mountain Range would be to add more accessible trash cans that are cleaned regularly around the Smoky Mountains National Park. The government can also fund companies that are researching on how to make more everyday products environmentally friendly. This would work because it would allow people to access trash cans easier, encouraging people to throw their trash in the designated bin. And cleaning the trash cans regularly can help the trash cans from overflowing. Funding companies that make environmentally safe products can encourage people to buy these products because it makes it more accessible. We can determine if this works by looking at the amount of black bears and human interactions in the following years compared to the year before, where we did not implement trash cans.
Of course, just because most of us won't be able to be involved in the process of research for better energy sources, we can still do the small things to slow the damaging effects of climate change using the methods we've probably heard over and over again. Use public transportation, always recycle, plant trees, and more. We can only hope that we can provide more realistic solutions to climate change in the near future before it causes more permanent damage to the eastern woodland forest region and just our Earth in general.
Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Here's some resources that were used in the making of this video that can help you learn more about our topic.